Hello, my name is Dr. Andrew Galati, and I'm a clinical professor of pediatrics at the University of South Florida College of Medicine, and I've been in the private practice of pediatrics for more than 30 years. In our second podcast of this series, I'd like to talk to you today about our obese and overweight children. But first, a bit of ancient food history.
Cavemen living in the wild never knew where their next meal was coming from or when the next famine would occur. They were, and we continue to be, hardwired to gorge. Not only are we programmed to eat a lot, but we also prefer food that is high in caloric content. Think fat calories. Centuries ago, we had to work hard to plant, harvest, or hunt for our food. That used lots of calories. Today, eating requires no sweat equity. Not at all. Just drive to the nearby Publix. It's always full. Now we're harvesting the result of food convenience. 2 of every 3 adults are overweight. Obese and overweight children are a special problem. When Dr. Sickelman and I opened our medical practice some 30 years ago, only 4% of our 6 to 11-year-old children were obese. By 2004, the figure had exploded to 18%, and that's only the obese kids. If we include all overweight children, the number jumps much higher. 32% of all American children carry more pounds than they should. An incredible 90% of overweight kids already have one avoidable risk factor for heart disease, such as high cholesterol or high blood pressure. Scientists predict that if we do nothing about this obesity epidemic, our children and grandchildren will have a shorter life expectancy than current generations. Just like epidemics of infectious disease, prevention is the best hope in fighting obesity. The following 6 strategies can be implemented by any family starting today, but it takes a serious commitment by moms, dads, grandmothers, and grandfathers to make this work. Number 1, increase physical activity. Now that we're not spending calories hunting or harvesting our food, we need to find other ways to burn calories. Walking is the simplest way to get started. No special equipment needed. Make it a family affair. After dinner each evening, take a stroll around the block. Every mile you walk burns about 100 calories. Walking that much on a daily basis would burn 10 pounds in a year. Secondly, fitness is easier when it's fun, and there are many new games on the market that encourage physical activity. Wii Fit has lots of activities for the whole family. There are other video games that can keep the whole family active, like Dance Dance Revolution. Make sure your children are getting physical education at school. In June 2009, Governor Charlie Crist signed a bill requiring physical education in Florida's elementary schools. Check with your child's school and be sure they're getting physical ed. Our local YMCAs are a great resource for family fun activities. The next strategy is to decrease the calories going in. In the 1950s, kids had 3 cups of milk for every cup of soda. Today, that ratio is reversed, which means our children are ingesting many extra calories and none of the nutrients, especially calcium. After the age of 18 to 24 months, our children should drink skim milk, not regular and not 1 or 2%. Substitute water for sugary sodas and juice. Typical 12-ounce soda has approximately 140 calories. Replacing 1 soda a day with water can trim 50,000 calories a year from your diet. That's the equivalent of 14 pounds. Another way to trim calories is to cut down on portion size. You know, my wife makes a great spaghetti sauce, and every time she serves it, I stuff myself to the point of being uncomfortably full for the rest of the evening. I believe many of us eat that same way. Maybe that's part of the gorging instinct we mentioned earlier. What we need to do is to concentrate on that feeling of satisfaction and no longer feeling hungry as a signal to stop eating, rather than having to loosen our belts or open our pants as an endpoint to the meal. At the same time we are decreasing portion size, we can increase the amount of vegetables and fresh fruit in our diet. Fresh fruit like grapes and strawberries are high in fiber, low in fat, and are a great alternative to high-calorie desserts like cookies. Another strategy for a healthier child is really the simplest, and it begins very early. That's breastfeeding. If you or a family member are expecting a new baby, remember that besides lots of other positive effects, breastfed babies have 1/3 the rate of obesity as compared to bottle-fed babies. Look, the facts are clear. Our children spend 8 hours of a relatively sedentary day at school, and then they come home to spend another 3 to 6 hours staring at TV, the computer, or playing video games. Parents need to be parents and must limit children's screen time while they are making physical activity mandatory. You need to set the example. I realize the kids will be watching some TV, so here's a tip for expending calories while in front of the screen. Have the kids sit on a fitness ball while viewing television or playing a video game. This active form of sitting requires the use of muscles to keep balance, and you can also make it a game. I encourage parents to join in the fun.
So today, we've given some very good strategies on how you can start right away to have a healthier child and a healthier youth. But remember, you have to have realistic goals. Children are not expected to actually lose weight because they're growing taller. So remember, for every inch of height growth, that's 4 pounds to 5 pounds of weight. So if I was going to write a diet book, it would be very, very thick, only 1 page, and maybe only 2 lines on the page. If you want to keep trim and be healthy, get exercise, eat less. Thank you for joining me today.